Well, we are so excited to bring this story to you. I'm Amy Wilson. We are here at the Royal Crown Futurity in Buckeye, Arizona. And Relentless PYC is the winningest Futurity mare ever. Also the richest rope horse 4-year-old ever. She's now 5, and she showed up and won the 6 and under heading Futurity today with Miles Baker. First of all, big congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we know what this mare means to you, but I think it's pretty spectacular to put in perspective, as Chelsea Schaefer helped me out with all these details, that a year ago you had never won a Futurity at this point.
Yep.
Talk about what you've done in the past year and what that's meant for you.
The past year's been awesome, but the work come from the 10 years before that. You know, I got around the right people, and I've been blessed. And like she said, I had won the year before. It was a very aggravating stat. I won second at like 11 Futurities or something, and like never won first. And then I had a really good week out here last year, and then it was just a heck of a year from there. I mean, I won more last year than I thought I'd ever win in my whole life, and so it was pretty cool. And then to come back and start this year off like that was pretty cool.
And you've since won about how many Futurities?
I don't know. It'd be hard to count, but I would say last year I probably won at least 15, and it was pretty cool.
And close to $1 million in the past year with everything?
Yeah, Futurities and jackpots and stuff.
Yeah.
For sure over $500,000. I don't know. I figured it low, and it was a little over $500,000. So I don't know what odds and ends are in there, but it was good.
That's awesome. This is a little off subject, but what did you buy with these big winnings you've had?
My wife and I have been very blessed. We built I grew up in Oklahoma, and we have a ranch there, but I built a place in Decatur, Texas, and we're still young, and our place is paid for, and so we've been very blessed. And
you have a new ride. And you have 2 new babies, identical twins that are at home with Daisy. And she actually shared a video. They were watching you rope live on roping.com, and she was feeding one and the other was sleeping. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
but a huge blessing.
God's good, man. It's been fun. There's no I didn't know. Everybody says it'll change your life, but until they got here and I got to hold them, I didn't understand it. But I'm glad to be at this Futurity, but I would a lot rather be at home.
Explain how that has changed your mentality. Obviously, you have to just stay focused and do what you do, but you've never experienced this before, thinking about them and being a dad. How's it changed?
Just everything I do for them is for them now. And I've told this story. I was on Clinton Anderson's podcast last week, and I told him, he was asking about Daisy, and I said, I can tell you the kind of wife I have, because Trevor said we weren't coming out here because of the babies. He was like, we're going to stay home with the babies, and we're one big family, the whole Relentless Remuda. And he said, we're staying at home and hanging out with those babies. And he left, and Daisy goes, hey, you know how much you won there last year? That's enough to pay for college for these boys, right? And I was like, all right, I'll go to Buckeye. So here we are.
That's awesome. I love that, and how supportive she is. And I know they'll be excited to have you home, but excited to see you get these wins too. Okay, so now I want to talk about this amazing mare. How did it come about that you've been able to ride her this whole time?
I bought her January of her 2-year-old year from Larry Rice. Her and the mare I placed sixth on today. And I've just had them the whole time. Trevor and I bought them. I went up, I knew Larry raised a bunch of good horses, and I told Trevor there's a guy there in Oklahoma about an hour east of me that had really good horses, and he said, well, go see if you like something and buy whatever. And we partnered on these mares, and I've had them, and normally I'll ride them kind of through their 3-year-old year, and then Trevor and I will just split the herd, and he'll show half and I'll show half or something. And he had shoulder surgery last year, so I rode the whole class for that year. And so that was one thing that kind of attributed to me having the success I had last year. Was Trevor was out for 6 months, so it was just me. And so I got to show a lot of horses last year that I wouldn't have shown had he been here. And I always want to give him the best horses. I just like, he's the man, and he's my hero, and I look up to him, and I want to see him win. He's my partner, and if he wins, I win. And so, but I started the year off on them 2 mares, and I got to show them both because he was out. And then by the time he come back, I'd won 100,000 on the one and probably 40,000 on the other one. And he was like, hey, those are your horses, keep going. So anyway, it's pretty cool that I've got to ride that mare the whole time, you know.
You've been able to ride a lot of great ones. So tell us about the connection you have with this one and why you think it's a little bit different.
she's just so pure. Like, she's got a good eye, and I could tell she was kind the day I bought her. And what I didn't know about her, I knew she was kind, but I didn't know the talent and the run and all that stuff. And I even tried to sell her when she was 3. I told several people about her, and I didn't love her when she was 3. I tried to tell people, I was like, she's a good horse, and people think when I'm trying to sell something that it's not good enough, and hopefully this will be a lesson to them that I just didn't love her myself. And then when she got thrown in the fire and things got fast, I realized how good she was. And then it's not unheard of to have a horse as good as her. It's unheard of to have a horse that stays as good as her. Like, young horses get smart, and they get to looking for ways out, and they'll start cutting corners on you, and she's just pure. Like, she's a great mare.
Well, speaking of all that, let's take a look at these winning runs today. 3 rounds and a short, so we're going to take you through it. We'll start in round number 1, and Miles, you can just kind of take us through all of this. You were 5th in this round. You were 150.02, so tell us about this run.
Yeah, that steer was stronger. I actually run that same steer in the short round on the Relentless Honor mare that I placed on, but that steer was strong, and they have them scored out. That's what's cool about these futurities. They don't set it up easy. Like, we were seeing tail by in the first round, and first round, I just want to set the pace, go all the way to the steer, show my horse good, and not let anything start leaking in the first round. And that cow stepped to the right, and I had to pick her up, hold the steer up, and try to give Brock a good go. These cattle are fresh. You can tell they hot fresh, and they're wild. And Brock Hansen healed for Trevor and I today, and he's an incredible helper. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah, I'm curious to know how many he ran today, because he was helping a lot and entered 2. Round number 2, we're going to take a look. You won rounds 2 and 3.
Yep.
So what made the difference? You were 150.02 in round 1, and then you came back 157.53 on this one.
I drew really good. We were 10 on the first one, and we were 5 on that one. And I drew good, and I don't know if it was the second or third one. Audrey Hart sent me a video of the barrier wrapping around my leg on one of them, because I was in it. And when it's tail by, you don't plan to be in the barrier that close. But that mare, I always say, I can go whenever I want on her. Like, I can see exactly what I want to see, and just drew a good steer. Dakota Kirchensauger walked up to me after the third round, when I won the third round, and he said, "You're hard enough to beat on that mare. You don't need to get to draw that good too." So anyway, she drew really good in the second and third round, and we took advantage of it.
Yeah, it all came together right there. And again here in round 3, a 155.89. What'd you think of this one?
I liked that run a little better than the first one. I used my rope a little bit better on that one, had better timing. I was ahead of her. That one looked cleaner, but a lot of times the scores are kind of based on the pace of the roping, and I think when I went 5 in the second round, it might have, like, it kind of surprised them, a 5-second run when everybody was being 9 or 10. And I really liked that run a little bit better, but like I said, I drew good the second and third one and just took advantage of them, and I don't know how big of a lead I had for the short round, but I knew I just needed to not mess up. So this is it. I stayed off the barrier a tick. That mare can run so much, I don't ever worry about getting outrun, and I just wanted to go up there, time the steer up good, make sure I roped the horns sharp, and give Brock a chance to catch. I actually knew this steer. They broke him in, and this was a bull, and he would get really mad every time he'd get roped, and after the run he'll try to hook the head horse, and so he handled like that every time. And so as a header, I just wanted to make sure I really pulled the cow and didn't let him hit too wild, as I knew Brock would catch him.
He made sure he caught that one. You could tell how disappointed he was. The run before had a little tough luck.
He said, I didn't want to know how much lead did we have, and the way it turned out, he could have roped a leg and I could have broke the barrier and we would have still won it. And he said, man, that's comforting.
Yeah, that just shows how dominating you and that mare were today, which is so cool.
All the mare for sure.
Yeah, great competition, some really great runs. Overall, what'd you like best about this day and getting this win here at the Royal Crown?
Just that it's the first one of the year. I just like starting the year off good. That, like I said, that mare was the winningest Futurity horse of the year last year, and I don't know, that people always speculate and talk, well, she was just a good 4-year-old or whatever, and I said, like, this mare won't quit winning. She's just that good-minded. And so to come back as a 5-year-old and start the year off like this again is just her making a statement that she's still in the house.
Yeah. Is there any way to put into words what having both of those titles, I mean, the winningest Futurity mare ever and the richest rope horse 4-year-old ever, I mean, that's huge. Can you put into words what that means to you?
Not really. Like I said, I'm just blessed. I I never seen myself getting to be like on that stage where like I grew up watching the cow horse and the rein and the cutting, and I know who rode all of the top cutting studs in their time. I know who won all or was on them because I was interested in that. Those are the guys that trained them and won on them, and I always just wanted to get to train them, and then Trevor be the guy that rode the winningest horse. And we've talked about that in our program, just how much it's evolved. And when I started with him, I would come to the shows and lope horses for him and rake the box when he rode in. Like I was literally, I warmed the horses up and I was his cheerleader. I just wanted him to win. And it's like I said, God's good, and I've busted my butt and worked at it, and I've got to move up to where I can compete at that level and get to have some of that limelight, and so it's good.
Yeah, I mentioned at the beginning how much I love this story, because that's just it. I mean, you had a dream, you worked so hard, and now you're here getting to enjoy it, and with your new family, which I know makes it extra special, and Trevor and Shada and their whole family being right there. I mean, it really is amazing. All of it.
Yeah, their family to me. Shada's like a mom to me, and Tristan and Swayze and Style, like they're just, it's family. I love them all, and like I said, I'm incredibly blessed.
I've always enjoyed interviewing Trevor, because I just think he mentally, I mean, he is just levels above everyone. Is there anything he's told you over the years that's just really stuck with you and maybe helped elevate your game?
I think probably just being around him more than anything. I said this on the podcast the other day. One day, he, from the most loving place in his heart, he just told me I wasn't good enough. He just said, man, like when we started our deal, you were the best there was on 2- and 3-year-olds, and he was like, that's what you're good at, and basically you just got to get better. It was like, there's no other way to put it. He was basically just said I wasn't good enough, and I was like, all right, you know what? I got something coming. And so like I said, it was from the most loving place in his heart, and I think if he knew that would make me throw my sucker in the dirt and quit, he would have never told me that. But he knows the kind of person and competitor I am, and he knew that I think it was him pushing me, saying, hey, I believe in you. Come on, you know. And he always talks about Roy Cooper did that with him. He said Roy one day just told him, he was like, hey, you're good enough, man. Like, I'll put my money on you. And he's like, it just took somebody believing in me. And that's how it is with Trevor. I mean, more times than not, Trevor don't even come to the futurities now. Like he'll just say, hey, I'm gonna go to the girls' basketball game. You got it. He did that at the World Show. He was supposed to show at the World Show. I was gonna help him. And a couple days before, he said, hey, you're showing at the World Show. I'm not gonna go. And I won the world. And so it's just like, he just believes in me that much. And I think knowing a guy that is the competitor and just as great as he is at what he does, and just, I mean, the absolute GOAT, knowing a guy like that believes in you, that's enough for me. If this the winningest guy to ever do it, and if he believes I'm that good, then I'm that good, you know. And so
I'm sure it felt harsh when he was so honest with you back then, but now you can look back and realize how much he truly did care and believe in you, because he knew what you were capable of. And
100%. It's kind of like my grandpa. I would always say my grandpa would never give me a compliment, but I knew at the coffee shop in the mornings he was bragging on me. And Trevor's kind of like that for me. Like, he's never, I don't know that he's ever said like, good job, or I'm proud of you, or anything like that, but like, I know he believes in me, you know, and so that's enough for me.
That's awesome. Well, we know he's very proud of you, and you showcased it today. We want to show you the results and the amount of money won when you add in what you won in the rounds, Miles. Over $23,000. This was the aggregate payout, so $18,000 for first, and there you see the scores. So a big congratulations, Miles Baker, Trevor Brazil, Caleb Driggers, Logan Cullen, and Trevor Brazil finished out fifth. They paid 7 places in the average, so all of those getting checks. And because the Royal Crown is so focused on the stallions and the owners and the breeders, we wanted to give you all of this information so you can see all the details. And anything you want to say about the partnerships or the breeders or any of that, Miles?
This is awesome. I love these futurities that are incentivized for the stallions and the owners and stuff. It just, there's so much built-in added money at these that, like, that's why these pay so good, you know. If we were all just showing up jackpotting with added sponsor money and 70% payback, it would pay a third as good as what we won here today. And so it's just cool. Our industry's great, and I want more people to get involved because it's fun and it's going places. I think we're outgrowing any other industry, and I think we've already passed a lot of them that were kind of, you know, big dogs in the horse world. And so the roping's pretty amazing.
It is exciting to see how
Yeah.
big it's gotten and to see the future
Yeah.
or look towards the future and what could happen.
Yeah, it's so sustainable because I think what the finale paid 20 million, 19 million or something this year, and that's not like you were there and you see it. 5% of those guys are actually professionals, probably. The Open and the 15 are the smallest ropings. And then you get into the lower number ropings where it's guys that are doing it for a hobby. They're roping for all the money. So, like, what other industry does the amateur guys get to win the most money? And so I just think it's really sustainable, and it's cool seeing these guys put time into the horses, and it's just a fun thing to be a part of.
Yeah, they look amazing. The quality's there, so all the way around, it's great. We hope you're joining us on roping.com. It's all free, and it continues through the 16th here in Buckeye, Arizona. It's the Royal Crown. This is Miles Baker. He just won the 6 and under heading on Relentless PYC. They won rounds 2 and 3 and the average. The winningest Futurity mare ever and the richest rope horse 4-year-old ever is now the champion here at the Royal Crown. We hope you enjoyed this story and the videos. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Wilson. We'll be back with more.